Okay, we don't. I do have one individual signed up to speak for information only, Corey Houston. If you want to step up, everybody will have 2 minutes. Brady will be the timer. I hopefully have a better ringtone. Did you guys work this out last time? I mean, that was interesting, but maybe every time you just shock us with one, make it interesting. See whose personality it fits of the members. All right, Corey, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
I have a question for Dr. Censky and for the board. As we start winding down the process of the museum and going towards the auction that's happening, I believe that the walkthroughs are going to start in August. I just have 2 specific questions at this point about some of the items in the museum. The Charles Porteous dioramas that were created in there are potentially WPA era constructed items, as well as the George Peter murals. So my question is, I would like to submit a request for information about the disposition of the items such as the WPA dioramas for the board to get an answer on. And I also would like to submit a request about the, and I'm not pronouncing it right, but the Nunmacher Arms collection. These are just some items that we have an interest to find the disposition of. Are those going to be sold? Are they going to be on display? And if they are sold, who's going to keep the proceeds from that? And secondly, we're going to have a disposition plan where MPM is deciding what Milwaukee County keeps and what MPM is allowed to keep and sell on its for its operating expenses. I have a question about will the board have an opportunity to see what will be on sale or for sale or up for auction prior to that auction, those commitments being made? Will private museums be able to purchase items from the collections or from the artifacts and items in the museum, and who will keep the proceeds of those sales? Primarily, it's who's keeping the money of the sale of the items in Milwaukee Public Museum.
Okay, so typically, I'm not wouldn't allow, this is not Q&A, that's not how this works, but if Dr. Censky, I heard 3 questions. If Dr. Censky is able to answer those 3, that'd be great.
Thank you.
And if not, you could provide the committee with the written responses that then could be shared. But if you are able to answer the questions, that would be, I think, helpful.
So the WPA, the WPA murals are collection items. Those are specific, large format, movable items that are actually owned by the federal government, and those will move to the new museum. Nunmacher arms are collection items. They will not be for sale. As I've stated numerous times, the collections are moving to the new museum. It is props, and the props that are built in are county owned, which equals if you think about the storefronts in the streets of Old Milwaukee or the buildings in the European Village, those are built in and are county owned. The props that are owned as personal property by the museum are things like the fruit that is in the baskets or a case that is movable. Those items that are not being taken to the new museum and repurposed, that are MPM props, they will go through the process, which I've presented before, so I'm not going to present again, and eventually end up as the remaining items will be auctioned. That will all be a public auction. I think I've answered all the questions.
I think, I appreciate that. I think you have. So will the board, will we be, like, will we get to see what these items are? Who gets, is there gonna be like a first preview? There was an order, a listed order, right? Like, who gets it first, dibs, and then it goes to
Correct.
auction? Is that correct? But I think the question is, do we get to see it? Does the county get to see it? Is that what you asked?
Yes.
Corey, does the county get to see what of these props and the things that are,
So you mean the supervisors?
yeah, was that what you're asking, or you're asking just the county as a whole? Because
No, it's the supervisors, the ones that are entrusted with the transition.
All right, so
Yeah.
I guess it's us.
I'm more than happy to give supervisors a tour and show, and some of you have come to see what is considered a prop, what is, I did send the document that clearly outlines what are propped, what are collection items, what's county owned, what's NPM owned. So I have shared this, I've shared it a few times. So happy to tour any supervisor through who wants to.
But is that, a tour is different than, like, will there be like a list? Because obviously it's a list that's going to become an auction. Is there going to be a list that you'll have, or a link to the auction that people can see, or we can see prior to the start of the auction, I guess, would be the best way to do it?
So we are still working through how this will happen, and
Okay.
we're certainly happy in whatever format to provide you whatever we have to do this auction. We don't know if it will be an online auction or if it will be one where people come in. We're still determining that.
Okay. Well, I think when we have that determined, I think that'd be helpful to let us know, so then we can share that, just to make sure that, well, I don't know what to make sure of, but I just think that we're getting the request that, I guess, we should be the ones to see it, so I think we should be the ones to see it.
Do you
And
mind
now
if I
we're-
just add a comment?
No.
There's a lot of public interest in this story. You said it's okay you're shaking your head. Is it
Like,
okay?
20 seconds.
Okay. It is not that you haven't shared information, but it's primarily under the word et cetera. Personal property, it is not that you have defined. So that's why I'm actually asking about specific items, and it's not an adversarial thing. It's because I do not believe that we've had enough information to describe what does personal property mean, because that could potentially be money that the public is very interested in.
Well, I heard 3 questions.
Yep.
All right. 2 very specific, and she gave very specific answers to where things are going to go. I think I've heard those questions before asked. I've heard them answer them before. So I'm getting tired of the same questions being asked and then the same answers. I mean, that hasn't changed. It just doesn't change. So I don't want to hear that question again, because now we know what's going on with the dioramas, with the WPS stuff, right? So we know that now.
I don't know that she answered about the Charles Porteous, about WPA.
I thought you.
Or the Charles Porteous
Yeah.
dioramas, but I have it in writing, and I can hand it to her.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate your, Supervisor Johnson.
Chairman Taylor, I move to receive and place on file the report.
Okay.